Hey everyone, I just wanted to pop on and say I am so sorry that I'm not able to get a podcast episode out this week. I had one lined up, but unfortunately the guest had to ask me to not launch it due to personal reasons and unforeseen circumstances. So completely understand and want to respect their privacy at this point. So I went ahead and tried to record my Q&A. However, I'm still learning about audio files, and I want to increase the quality. And when I passed on the episode onto my editor, it ended up not loading very well, so it probably would have taken her a few days for a 30-minute episode. And so I said, you know what, it's not worth it. So let's just go ahead and scratch it, and hopefully we can get it figured out to launch. So thanks so much for your questions. Thanks so much for your time. Yes, I do hire an editor. It is really, really difficult and challenging for me. I don't have the patience nor the skills, nor the desire really to understand the skills of editing. It's also really interesting editing your own voice. I don't know if anyone's ever done that process before, but I typically get really self-critical, and it takes a really long time for me to record anything. So I don't know why video seems to just work for me. Maybe I should just pop on my phone. But anyway, when it comes to a quality episode, I just perfectionism kicks in, and I start criticizing the ums and the silence and all that stuff. And so hiring an editor gets a podcast out each week. Without her, I don't know what I would do. I personally pay for that out of my own pocket, and each episode takes about 6 to 12 hours to work on the season. And I just want to put out there a big apology, a sincere apology, that I have not been able to have the capacity to upload on YouTube. Life events, work events, people in town, family in town has just kind of gotten overwhelming for me. And access is extremely important to me, and I know that I'm failing at that when it comes to hearing impaired folks, or if folks need closed captioning. So I just want to extend a sincere apology that I have not prioritized that, and understand that I'm standing in a position of privilege when it comes to ability. So I just wanted to say that I'm sorry that hasn't been available in season 2. I would also love to outsource that if I could get transcripts available or any other type of solution. And again, I don't really have the financial means to make that happen. And so I would love, if you're enjoying and if you're learning things, I would appreciate subscriptions. You can subscribe via anchor.fm, and that's a monthly subscription of your choice. And there's also Venmo, which I can be found at Awkward Angler. So that all goes towards the editing and some of my time. And eventually I would love to pay guests. I have been slowly trying to get guests from season 1 compensated. And so to me, that was really important for folks of color to be compensated for their emotional labor and their education that they're extending throughout my podcast. So that's kind of where the money goes. I'm also open to sponsorships if that's something that you or a company are interested in. Feel free to email me at awkwardangler@gmail.com. So just a couple of updates that are kind of keeping me busy these days. I started fly fish guiding. I'm working through Willowfly Anglers, which is located at Three Rivers Resort in Almont, Colorado, and I love it. I also just started whitewater guiding again. I used to commercially guide in California on the American River, and I loved it. I really miss being part of that world, and keeping up the skills is important to me. It's been about 3 years since I've kind of picked up the guide stick. And so just kind of getting reintroduced into the whitewater scene, and also get those muscles in check. Today I did kind of like not really a checkoff run, but I had my own boat and followed other guides. They're not putting guests in my boat quite yet, but I got my blister all bandaged up here. So it's funny flipping from whitewater to fly fishing and vice versa, because fly fishing, it's just chill. You're trying to slow down the boat, you're pulling, which is kind of slowing down that boat, and you can anchor sometimes and just hang out and get out of the boat, wade. Whereas whitewater, you're constantly pushing the boat, trying to hit bigger waves for guests because it's fun, and you're just kind of going down river not as fast as you can, but you're definitely pushing yourself out there. So my muscles are starting to get reawakened, so I'm sure I'm going to be a little sore in the next couple days, but it's really exciting to be able to just kind of be back on the sticks there in that department. Other big news, I launched Real Consulting, which is my consulting firm, stands for Reconcile, Evolve, Advance, and Lead, in 2018. And I co-founded that with my business partner, Sydney Clark Whittington. She got married November 2020 to an amazing person, Mac, and they are expecting a baby due at any moment. And so it's making an impact on our work for the next few months. And so that's kind of why I started guiding. I'm also trying to just, I was planning on traveling. I had a trip planned tomorrow to go to Jackson, but due to variants kind of popping up, and Wyoming is flagged as a red state, and having lived there, I know that a lot of people refuse to wear masks, so I just did not feel comfortable or safe traveling and kind of putting not only myself in that position, but also, I just don't know. So I like being in Crested Butte for the summer. It's been really awesome. It's been really awesome mornings, and in the afternoon, we get these pretty gnarly thunder and lightning storms. So I actually captured a pretty cool picture yesterday, which I'll share as well. That's, work has been really busy. We're picking up stuff in the fall. And we also partnered with a whitewater rafting company called Arrowhead Adventures that's located on the Rogue River in Oregon. And it's going to be a leadership development course, and my background's organizational leadership development, and throughout that journey, whether it's corporate or nonprofit, I always kind of wondered why we weren't talking about diversity and inclusion and what it looks like to be an inclusive leader. So this is a pretty sweet opportunity, not only to workshop out those skills and what that means, but also decolonize whitewater. I think that anytime I started guiding, whether it was hiking, backpacking, rock climbing, instructing whitewater, it was always history started at 1800. It could have been the gold rush or all these old cute buildings such as Crested Butte. All these buildings were erected in the 1800s that often ignores the indigenous history and the ancestral folks that used to steward this land. So I am beyond thrilled to not only throw in my outdoor and guiding expertise, but also pair that with becoming an inclusive leader and what that looks like. So if you want more information, it's a 4-day trip, 34 miles down the wild and scenic Rogue River. We'll be talking about original names, why it's called the Rogue River, some real actual indigenous history of that area, as well as the impacts that has created that we're seeing today as well. So arrowheadadventures.com is going to get you the information there. And then a couple of other things I'm working on. I'm on a board, a conservation board called HICA, High Country Conservation Advocates here in Crested Butte. We're getting ready for one of our biggest fundraisers called the Red Lady Ball. So it's been pretty exciting to be part of that discussion and hold the organization accountable for signing pledges and putting Black Lives Matter statements out there. So, with a conservation and inclusive lens as well. So I find that really important to serve my community in that aspect. Also, speaking of community, I highly recommend folks getting to know their local representatives when it comes to political decisions. We have a really small town, so I'm pretty active in the town council meetings, understanding what's going on, because leaders are making decisions and there's opportunities for public comment and for you to kind of voice your opinion, your concern, and so figure out your district or your representatives where you are. I highly encourage it. Shit can actually get done when you show up and you actually have a voice. So pretty powerful stuff. We're dealing with a housing crisis. We declared a state of emergency this summer because the lack of housing, and other places are seeing this as well with shortage of shortage of staffing and trying to tackle short-term rentals and finding locals places to live. Right now, it's really disheartening to hear that locals are camping, which is fine right now, but with these afternoon storms and fall coming up, it can get pretty chilly. So just really trying to be active in that conversation and figure out where money is being allocated and what decisions are being made. So anyway, local government, get involved. Highly encourage that. And then I'm also on another board called Women's Wilderness. Check out womenswilderness.org. It's a great organization taking women and women identifying folks backpacking into the wilderness. And there's also different types of programming, which, it's not only this remote adventure, but it can be an urban adventure, whatever your comfort level is, and introduction to car camping if you'd like. And then you actually get to go car camping the following week. And just a really cool organization, and I really love how they did their board recruitment, and I kind of weaved that concept into some of the consulting work that I do, because I just admire the executive director, Sarah. And she's just a badass trying to create change and shake shit up when it comes to the wilderness, concepts of wilderness, and empowering women in that space. So anyway, that's kind of what I'm up to, and I just had family in town and just other projects that I'm working on. So thanks so much for your support. Again, if you might, maybe you're a video editor, maybe you're able to volunteer your time to help me get that uploaded to YouTube. Maybe you have experience in transcripts and whatnot. I'd be more than happy to talk to you and figure out compensation, and how I can get a budget together as well would be really helpful. So anyway, I'm always available. I'm open to feedback about any of the shows, suggestions, either whether it's topics or guests that you want to see on the show. And I kind of have ideas for season 3, but I would love some more input, because I just kind of been doing this, just kind of winging it, and it seems to be growing, and a lot of folks seem to have get value out of it. So would love to hear more and more what you're looking for, and any suggestions are welcome. You can reach me. The best way to reach me is email, awkwardangler@gmail.com. I do read DMs. However, I'm so in and out of cell phone service that I'll see it and I never remember to go back. So I apologize if I've left you on scene. So email is the best way to reach me, and hope everyone is having a wonderful week. I have a great episode lined up for next week, speaking with Corinne Doctor of Rep Your Water, and super stoked for that. So thanks again for your support, and we'll see you next week.